How you doing? Welcome. So how would you like to attain and fill 5, 10, 15, even 20 new hiring premium clients every single month on demand and with predictability? Keywords: attain the client; fill, get the candidate. Another keyword: predictability. Now, you probably know Jeffrey Imlet, the CEO of General Electric. One of the statements that he says around his business is, when you put your foot on the gas in this company, the car moves forward. Now, most recruitment search business owners, when you put your foot on the gas, what happens? Do you have that predictability? Do you know where you're going to end up? Do you know if you put X units into this activity that you're going to get X units out the back of it? Usually the answer is no. So the harsh truth for most recruitment search business owners I've dealt with in the last decade is we've got an old model of 360 recruitment, or a model of we do everything, or a model of bums on seats. The more desks we have, the better. But really what we've got is hope. We've got determination. In recruitment search, is there a more stronger individual in the business world? Is there anyone who works harder in the business world? But often the business is based on experimentation. So what that leads to is ongoing feelings of being uncertain, the unknown, the unexpected is going to happen. And we've got a phrase, inside RMI, and it's, people come to us because there's feast and famine in the business. They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down, and hope that the ups last a bit longer and the downs don't last too long. So only recruitment search business owners with a predictable system to attain premium clients and high quality candidates can truly say, when I put my foot on the gas in this business, i.e. this car, it moves forward. So that's what we want to be able to do. Put our foot on the gas and we know it's going to move forward. So my name's Andy Whitehead. I'm from the UK, as you can tell. I've been in the recruitment search space now for about a decade. Originally, my background was from investment banking and systems engineering. And I help switched-on agency recruiters, search consultants, business owners who are stuck. They're stuck in outbound one-to-one chasing. They're not hitting their targets, and they're not scaling fast enough. So I help them relaunch into a new niche, break the plateau if they're stuck at, say, 300K a year, or exponentially grow. So that's startup businesses through to 8-figure businesses. You may have heard of us as the $1 Million Recruiter, the Laptop Recruiter as our podcast. We've been doing the remote thing in recruitment now for over a decade. But the key thing is a predictable system. My background is systems. And as I say, I've been in this space now for about a decade. So I'm going to share with you today the following: how you can have 90% of all clients and candidates in your market. So whatever your niche is, if you're in construction, if you're in administration, if you're in private equity, if you're in IT or a sub-niche in IT, you're in gaming, whatever it might be. How can you have 90% of all the clients and all the candidates in your market in your own database? So if there's 10,000 clients, 9,000 plus in your database. I'll explain why that's incredibly important. Same for candidates. I'm going to share with you the two things that 7-figure recruitment search business owners have that strugglers do not. The simple, proven 3-step system that generates client leads and candidates. The biggest mistake most recruiters are making when they think, right, grow the team, it means more desks, more people. Wrong decision. So the key thing for me is predictability. So we have a group called, well, we've got various groups, but this is one of our groups here, Inner Circle Ignition. And the key thing again is predictability. So this is inside one of our secret forums, and you can see it. This isn't to do some bullshitty online thing. Go and check us out. We are the real deal. But it's to demonstrate. It's about having a system, and then a system actually equates to you getting an outcome. So why are you in recruitment? Well, you're in recruitment because you have probably evolved in it. You may have been working for the man, and you're tired of working for someone else. So you've made the decision to run your own business because you want more. Well, everyone comes to us, number one, for more revenue or profit. Then number two, they want a better model. So if you look here on the screen, we've got one of our members, Mercedes bought for his wife. Remember, these are in the middle of these 7 interviews. These are now, the economy we're going through, but these are now. The right-hand side, you'll see one of the videos I did for my group, and you can see it, in parallel with this sharing how Laura now is the highest fee search specialist in a really hard niche to become the Don. Plus, how she's able to be on course to grow by 90% this year, may just hit the 100% doubling, and all this working. Now look at that, a 20-hour per week. So how can she do that? See, these are real people. These are real people. And this gentleman here, on the left-hand side, you'll see saying, I just want to say thank you for the live event. It was epic and a game changer for me. So we'd get together 3 times a year in London. And he's talking through there, as you can see, he's talking through what he got from the event. Now, the right-hand side. Now, this is in COVID, when COVID happened. I picked up one VP, 250K role, 3 director roles. You can see there, had an amazing course, CMO. About to get 5 roles, Fortune 2000 company. Doing digital transformation of their entire growth marketing team. Now, the reason why I'm showing you is the following. This gentleman was doing $80,000 in 2019, 2020, 8x in 1 year, okay? You can see left-hand side, he's talking about the live event we do. The right-hand side, you can see what he's sharing inside our group. But again, you need a system to do this. So the implementation of the system, at the beginning, this member didn't implement, quote, the steps that I said, and I actually had a harsh conversation with him. And then that conversation, I saw this big shift. So the point is this: you don't know what you don't know, but it's about having a system to do it. So if you're a recruitment or search business owner, what we're going to cover is this. And why is it going to be relevant to you? Why right now is the perfect time to remove the need for multiple humans. Now, it's not to say we need robots, but the more people you add to your team, so I want a team of 12 people. No, you don't. You want to reach 7 figures. You want to reach 8 figures. Whatever your thing is. So why right now is the perfect time to remove the need for multiple humans? The more humans, the more errors. The more humans, the more conversations. The more humans, your role changes drastically. Next, how a recruitment search business can 2x to 10x in 1 year with maths. So for example, the previous gentleman, 8x in 1 year. I'm going to show you the mathematics behind this. So this is not some BS you might see online and someone saying, you use this physical contraption, you're going to get a 6-pack. This is going to go through the metrics and the steps. You can just see this is base metrics science. It's binary. There isn't a grey area. It's the numbers. Why just building a team is not the way to grow your revenue figure in your business. I've touched on why being able to present to your clients the top 15% of professionals and premium candidates in your niche, in your marketplace, leads to higher fees and retained roles. So when you pass your candidates to your clients and you send across whatever you send across with the intention of that candidate getting placed, and you get a delivery fee. And ideally you get repeat business, or just now like with the member, if it goes well, then you might get an opportunity in that case to build the entire team, in that case the marketing team for that growth company. So we want to give across the best candidates, not just the first candidates we can find. So if we've got 10,000 candidates in our niche and we've got 9,000 of them in our database, and we can send across the top 15% of that, we're sending the top 15% from the top 90%, not just the first 6. So it actually leads to higher fees and retain roles and repeat business. I'm going to show you how to increase conversion to 100% using a spreadsheet. The simplicity of lowering your own recruiting costs by having a system. That one setup will take minutes to segment and execute. The formula I just showed you, we had a member move from 300k to 700k in 1 year with just him and one VA. He actually messed up. If he actually followed what I actually laid out, he should have had another person in place, and he would have got past $1 million in that year. But you don't need vast numbers of people to hit fairly good numbers. Next, create a sellable asset. So I don't know where you are right now. You're looking to have a business that will develop and give you a 500k dividend per year, works without you. Are you looking to have a business you can sell? So nowadays, when you sell a business, the days of just a base brokerage model of, right, this company bills 100,000 or 2 million or 10 million, and then we look behind the figures and there's 3 big billers in there. Those days are going, if not gone. What an investor wants to see is I put 5 units in, I get 50 units out. It's not dependent on that big biller being there. So we're creating an asset. We want a database that covers 90% of the candidate pool. So a database covers 90% of the candidate pool as well as the client pool. And this is going to add multiples of value to your business. While your own health and stress is so key. You must remove this feast and famine, up and down, up and down, up and down. Like in COVID, we had members who had their best quarters ever. Not everybody, hands up. However, everybody who follows a set of steps, and we put 10 units in, we get 100 units out. It may be, but 10 units in, we only get 40 units out. So what do we do to overcome that? We put 30 units in to get 120 units out, etc. So there are different ways of getting to the outcome figure you need to, but it's about having predictability. If you don't, as an entrepreneur, especially in recruitment search, you're going to be you never switch off. You're probably looking at your phone on the sofa, you sat down with family, you got LinkedIn open, message comes in, email comes in, and you never actually truly switch off. It's not good for you. So 2x to 10x growth per year, this is how you should do it. I expect people to a minimum double in the first year. Now, I don't know what they're going to do. It's like the gentleman I just shared with you earlier. He's 8x in 2020. I had to have a very stern conversation 6 months before that. Without that may not have happened. Who knows? But the guy's an absolute legend. He took an action and he's got that now. But I expect 2x to be, if you've got control of your metrics in the system, to be on. And that's from a business from, well, we deal with startups, but from a low 6-figure business up to multiples of 7 figures. Now, key thing is this. So my background originally was systems engineering. I started off in Nomura, Japanese investment bank, then moved to Societe Generale investment bank, then Reuters, Casanova, the Queen stockbroker, AT&T. I worked in Europe with AT&T. Then I became a manager at BSkyB on one of the biggest projects at the time, CRM implementations in Europe. At one point, I was co-managing a team of 75 people. So I've always been very clear about input, process, output. When I came into recruitment search 10 years ago, I was blown away by what I saw. I was absolutely dumbfounded by what I saw. A gentleman called Mike Walmsley said, I keep hearing your name pop up. If you're that good, come and do a presentation to my Pinnacle group. And I'll share Mike a little bit later. And the thing that blew me away, when I presented that Pinnacle group, half the room contacted me and said, Andy, can we work with you? Can you come in and help us out? I was like, that's interesting. It was only a small group, about 12, maybe 16 people. And what I saw in recruitment, as I dug deep, just blew me away. There was no understanding about everything we do, whether it be in our life. If we eat crap, our body's going to process crap. The output is we're going to get fat. If we eat healthy, our body's going to process that and thank us, and we're going to have energy. So everything's an input, process, output. Business is an input, process, output. If you wake up in the morning groggy because you've been drinking the night before, your process throughout the day is going to be poor. Your output's going to be poor. If you input in your business, sending across crappy candidates, the process is they're going to get sent back to you. The output is they're probably not going to get the delivery fee. You're not going to get paid. You won't get repeat business. Input is you're chasing your clients. You're picking up the phone. You're going networking events. You're dependent on one big biller or one client. You've only got a handful of clients. You've got a risk. Process is that we focus on just those 2 clients, and then if one of those clients goes, output is shit, we've only got 1 client left, now we're in a spot of bother. Everything's input, process, output, everything in life. So in recruitment, the way that what I model RMI, Recruitment Marketing International, is you've got 2 things to succeed in recruitment. You've got clients and you've got candidates. Very simple. Clients, you've got candidates, that's it, it's complicated. 360 recruitment, I believe, is a dead model. And, a lot of people will disagree with me. It's absolutely fine. Who says I'm right? I'm just basing it on what I see with my members and with my clients. The 360 model is very, very difficult to scale, and it's very much dependent on humans. As the world becomes more remote, then there's more dependence on humans being ethical. As the world becomes more remote, it's got more dependency on humans being more ethical, but also more productive without you. So your job becomes harder as a business leader. So we want to have control as much as possible. So we want all the client data in our niche. It means there's 10,000 clients, let's have it all. Same with candidates. We want that data segmented. So for example, if we've got, let's give a simple example. Let's say we deal with construction and there's 50 states in the USA. We just very simply break it down by our data set is 50 segments. So we've got 50 states. And in that each segment of data, we've got one decision maker. It could be the CEO. And of course, more than that we'll come to. But we want to segment it. Same for candidates. We might segment our candidates into construction workers and break it down by 50 states. We've got 50 lists. And of course, be segmented again into type of role, etc. But you see what we're saying? So you input, you've got this control at the front level. So if I want to have a campaign where I want to get a role comes into Texas, a construction role, I can access my candidate data for Texas, then put it into the process. So in this case, the process is we've got segmented data, we've got proven templates that brings in clients, brings in candidates, we've got metrics that allows us to know whether we're on the right track or not, and we've got automation that does the work for us. Now the enablers are, it's not done by you, it's done by a system. The enablers are, it's simple. So when you run a process that is automated, you have a template, so a copy and paste template, you click send and you get a metric back. So the feedback is immediate within 24 hours. If you've got an automated follow-up process, it might be a little bit longer, but you're in control of that all the way. And for this, there's no pre-knowledge needed. Now, if you compare that to what you do with a standard business, I don't know how you operate, I don't know what your input is, your process is, your output is, but when you compare the two, it's a completely different world. And again, I was blown away by how recruitment works, which is why when you look at my website and you see Brant's, you see Darren's, you see Jonathan's, you see Laura's, these people who have gone from doing 300k to $1 million in 1 year, these guys who have 10x their business in 1 year, I fully understand where you think that guy from the UK speaks too quickly, is full of BS. That's impossible. I fully get it. I would think the same. But because you don't think like this, is why you can't correlate the two together. And I'm completely cool with that. When someone says, that must be bullshit, I actually feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for thinking you're a struggler. You're always going to be struggling. I was there with my fitness. Everyone must be on steroids. Until I realized that I go to the gym 7 days a week at one point, and I'm just not getting how I want to get. Until it actually just hit home. Eventually, I might have read it 100 times. It hit home where the real work is in the kitchen. Everything changed. That one insight. Everything shifted. So I can work as hard as I can in the gym. My body ain't changing. They must be on steroids. But I'm eating crap. I'm inputting crap. So I get it. But that's on you, not on me. If you're in that world still, that's on you, not on me. I'm here to make it aware for you. So we put the process in. So we run an automated process. Then we get new clients, premium clients, with an automated process to be pre-qualified. So we know they are hiring. We can match the clients to the candidates. So if we got a role in Texas in construction, guess what? We send out a campaign to candidates in Texas. But because we got all of them in our database with 90% plus, then we're getting the top 90%. The automation is followed up and the nurture is followed up. So what it really gives you as a business owner, whether you're deciding whether to go into business in recruitment, in search, whether you've been doing it for 10 years, is it gives you increased revenue. Simple outcome. Number two, it gives you decreasing costs. Less human cost, less overhead costs, less opportunity cost. Opportunity cost in accounting terms means this. If you go to a network, let's say you're doing $1 million per year, okay? And you go to a networking event and you spend an hour traveling there and 2 hours at the event, an hour getting home. That's 4 hours. So that's $2,000 of your time spent. $500 per hour is your fee, what it should be, your rate, if you're in $1 million a year. Okay, £500 per hour or dollars per hour. So that means for that networking event, you should have really brought in $2,000. Now that's working linear. Now, if you do one activity, you want to do that activity and it comes back in an exponential way. So when we talk about decreasing costs, it's not just decreasing costs in terms of actual time, overheads, it's actually decrease in the exponential costs. So costs all around your business, chasing up, nurturing, following up, admin. So it's everything. It gives you predictable metrics. Because you got control, you got no more up and down. You got no more hope. For me, hope is one of the weakest words in the dictionary. And I was brought up in a very fairly religious house and a church every Sunday, all that good stuff. And hope is a key word. But then when I got into business, I saw firsthand hope is a very weak word. It's if it's talking spiritually, yes. But in business, no. Hope doesn't help you when your mortgage payment is due. What helps you is having an input, process, output. So we got total control. You got total control. And even to this day, when I speak to a member and they'll say, I need this, I'll always go back to the base inputs. Whether I'm dealing with someone like Experian, who are doing billions and billions of dollars, or I'm dealing with a startup, I always go back to a base fundamental set of questions every single time. Every single time. My members probably heard me say it, well, some members have been with me 5-6 years now. They probably hear me say that same question 1,000 times to other people. And it's very simple when we've got an understanding about input, process, output in your business. So you've got that control. Now, if you are a recruitment search business owner and you're looking for a predictable way to generate clients and close clients on demand and attract the candidates on demand, then you're definitely in the right place. Now, Darren Franks, Darren Franks is an absolute don. Darren applied to join us, and I was actually hesitant at one point because he was almost aggressive with the way that he was questioning. But all he was doing, he came to me already very advanced. So all he was doing was just squeezing me to see if orange juice came out. Squeezing orange, does orange juice come out? And so he's doing his due diligence. So he's actually 10x his business in 2 years, and he's fully embraced what we live and breathe. So in his own words, I was cynical at first. There's so much noise in the recruitment space. I knew a bit to start. However, Andy walks the walk. I 10x my revenue in 2 years. Now the number one authority in my niche by far. I strongly recommend Andy and RMI, whether startup or established. One-to-many and automation is here to stay. Andy's at the front of the market by a long way. So Darren is an absolute don, and he's referenced authority there. I'm not going to go through authority with you today on these videos. I'm going to be speaking about just one small component, one of 200 different components, but I think it'll be relevant to you right now given the economy. Laura, came across Andy 4 years ago, and we let off right away. One of the stipulations to Andy was my lifestyle, keep my work to 20 hours. Well, I did still do that. However, my first year I doubled the bottom line. I'm fully retained. My fees are a lot bigger than when I started. She's actually got the highest fee in her niche now, which is really cool. This is down to Andy's authority strategies. Would I recommend? Yes, without a shadow of doubt. It's a step-by-step process. The best thing I did for my business. Even with COVID this year, I'm on course to nearly double my revenue. 9% is the current outcome we have. I love my business, and I sometimes have to pinch myself. Is it meant to feel like this? So Laura, we were chatting, and Laura said, I feel like I'm getting away with something. It's too easy. It's not easy as in there's no work involved, but it's like I feel like I'm missing something. Because again, you only know what you know. Brand, go for ROI.com. So Brand deals with middle markets, the C-suite, CEOs, board level. And he has a sixth sense for recruitment search. This is why I keep coming back after all these years. In my first year, I reached my first 7 figures for the first time, a 3.5x on the previous year. I only wish I drank Andy's Kool-Aid sooner. It's helped grow my search business 7 figures, and most importantly, I have much more time with my family. Now I've been able to work remotely. Before I approached Andy, I assessed 50 plus PR, marketing, coaching, sales, business development companies. Andy was the first and only one who has all this for search business owners. So high praise indeed. Again, my background was systems engineering, in investment banking and media. Then I became an entrepreneur, bought a lot of property, lost it all in 2008, very dark time. So anyone who's in a dark time, you've got my empathy. But I'm very good at this. So the top 3 categories of recruitment search person I work with are the following. Number 1, the startup. So you've been trading for a year or less probably, and you're probably struggling to get off the ground. So it may be longer than that. It may be a figure of below 100K. It may be, but you're in startup mode really. You're still sort of flying by the seat of your pants. Number 2, the plateau. So the experienced recruitment search business owner was finding that what used to work no longer does. So you may be anywhere between 100 and maybe 750 per year, 100K to some 750K per year. You're just not breaking that ceiling. You're just up and down and round about that figure, and things are just not breaking that ceiling. You may have had a bit of a kick with the economy, but you've plateaued essentially. And then thirdly, we've got the dominator. So the business owner who knows the recruitment world has changed and is excited by the possibilities. So that business owner may be also at a figure. They may be at 500K, they may be 500K to sort of 2 million. But they know there's another side. They know that what used to work no longer works, and they're excited by the possibilities. So in terms of the psychological person and breakdown of what we got, the startup, they don't know what they don't know, and they're being fed BS in the marketplace. So some can be open, some are not. I'm not interested in those or not. It's not my job to persuade. It's black and white. It's binary. As metrics will show you. The plateaued, this can often be someone who's in a place of pain. They're working around the clock. They may clock off at 7, but the phone's next to them, and they never stop. And they're in a constant state of worry. And the dominator, they may be in a similar financial position as the plateaued or a little bit bigger. However, their mindset is, I know the time is going to have to come where I have to change. I've just not had the time to do it. As I was told by a recruitment director I was working on site with, I took a team on site about 8 years ago. And in his own words said, trying to implement a new strategy in a recruitment search business while it's active, while it's trading, it's like trying to change a wheel on a car going 80 miles an hour. So the dominator knows that, but they're like, listen, if I don't change, it's game over. phrase that I live by is this: if you don't win the long game, you don't win the game. If you don't win the long game, you don't win the game. So I don't know which one of the three buckets you're in, but I understand you. So grinders are people who, they work like a dog. I'm a grinder. When I was a young kid, I had 2 paper rounds. Then I worked an hour to pushing trolleys. Then I worked in the paper shops. I was working 2 hours before school, 2 hours after school. I'm a grinder. But then when I got into the investment banking world and saw the way that IT people work, it became really clear to me that, this is looking back, by the way, very clear to me that grinders live by hours. They work longer hours. I miss some of my best friends' weddings when I worked in the city, just through me being a grinder. And it wasn't until I became an entrepreneur I realised being a grinder is not the way to live. When I became a dad, I knew 1,000% wasn't the way to live. I took 2 years out of the business essentially when my son was born. So we got a grinder, we got a rainmaker. A rainmaker is someone who they understand that at the switch of a click, they can, or click of a switch even, they can turn it on, turn it off. Predictability. Now this is my interpretation. So I've been a grinder, I'm now a rainmaker. And the way that I operate is for 3 months, I'm going to smash it. And then for 3 months, I may take a step back. So I still combine working extremely hard with being a rainmaker, which means I'm 10x in my productivity. But other times I'll be a rainmaker and I'll sit back. So whether you're a grinder or a rainmaker, whether you're recruitment or search or staffing, I don't know. But I'm sure that you've noticed around you, people fit into one of these 2 categories. Now, I don't know which category you're in, but grinders in recruitment. We've got the search business owner, recruitment search business owner who has some placements, sometimes, but no real money, most of the time. So you spend way too much time making far too little. So there's grinders. Most people come to me as a grinder. And there could be a grinder doing 7 figures, and often I'll get the attitude of, well, I know more than you, Andy. It's absolutely cool. I'm not here to persuade you. Fine, let's not speak. But I also understand if you've run a business and you're still operating now, fair play to you. We're kindred spirits. It's bloody tough. If anyone told me what being an entrepreneur was at the start, would I have done it? I don't know. I've got in a steal, but would I? I don't know. It's the toughest thing I've ever done, by far. So I don't know where you are, but you've probably seen these grinders around you. You may be one. Then we've got the rainmaker. Now these are the recruitment search business owners who are absolutely crushing it, making more and more placements, building wealth, increasing fees, fully retained, but doing it with less time. Like Laura I just showed you, Laura Anderson, veterinaryservices.com, been with me I think now 4 or 5 years, but she's a rainmaker. So I'll give her one thing to do and she'll go away, come back, could be a month, 2 months, although she's on, we have webinars twice a week, we are on a group format every day. She will actively come out and say, right, I've done this, these are my results. She's a rainmaker. So what does it allow some one-man recruitment search owners make millions, while others make less? They actually make less than what they could do in a full-time job. And even worse, they struggle to make rent. So we've set up our business, we're now responsible for tax, people, mortgages, family, but we're probably making money often that we could do in a very good full-time job. So what's the difference? Well, after working closely with hundreds, and by that I mean one-to-one and in group format, of recruitment search business owners, I've realised really, really clearly that the rainmakers have 3 things present in their businesses, while the grinders only have 1 or 2 of these. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying be a rainmaker and don't work. With Darren Franks, when Darren came to me, one of his things was time. He was doing, I think, roughly 80 hours a week, something crazy like that. But I said to him, I can give you 40 hours a week back, or half your time back. I don't know exactly what it was with Darren. He runs Talent in the Cloud. And he said, if you give me that time back, Andy, I'm going to use that. Because he was on a mission, I'm going to scale. And he did. So the truth is, if you have both of these things that are present in recruitment search business owners, it becomes very easy and predictable. So there's a couple of things, even 3 things, that rainmakers have. And it becomes predictable to make that 1,000, whatever your figure is, per week, per month, 100,000 per month, the million per year. Whatever your predictable outcome is, it becomes based on metrics. Okay, based on metrics. Now I've used 1 million, so that's often a figure that the entrepreneur aspires to get to. So you might be doing 8 figures, you might be startup, but there's numbers that make that happen: input, process, output. So the best way I can describe this is to you with a story about the Wright Brothers. So remember, these guys invented the world's first aeroplane. So back in 1903, the race was on to invent the world's first aeroplane that could fly. that could fly. And the industry followed what the industry had always done. They wanted to build a bigger engine. So in those days, we got cars. So what do we do with cars in those days? They weren't going at a huge speed. So it wasn't about the aerodynamics of the car. It was about the engine of the car. So when the intention of mankind was, right, we're going to fly, they based it on what they'd always done with cars, build a bigger engine. So they built these big, massive engines, but what they didn't think about was the aerodynamics. So what happened was these engines got bigger and bigger, but they didn't take off. It didn't take off. So we had these incredible engines built. Incredible engines were built at that time. So in the same way in recruitment, but what happens is, because we've got a model in recruitment of evolution. So we've been in a environment whereby whether you've come on as a young buck into recruitment, or whether you came into recruitment at 30 or even later, you've been shown those steps by someone. So what happens is, this is how you do recruitment. You get clients in this way. You send out LinkedIn messages. You go to networking events. You contact your little black book. You contact candidates to see if there's any jobs going on site. To get candidates, you do ABC. So we've always done what we've always done. We try and get that model to work better. So in these days, they got the engines to work better. So we had these outstanding engines. So they were basing their design on cars. But the industry had changed into aviation. The same as in recruitment. So when I came into recruitment, I was mocked as such. There's a gentleman who wrote about me, and he said he didn't actually call me out, but I got to point out, and I don't care about anything online. I think it's a very weak person who trolls. Everyone should focus on helping themselves and helping those around them. Those who cut other people down, it's called cutting down the poppies, as my friends in Australia say. Weak people do that. But this gentleman said, this guy saying he should 2x your business, he's talking bullshit and all this stuff. It's like, I actually just felt sorry for the gentleman. I just felt sorry. Just felt seriously sorry for the person, because they'd always been in that industry and they hadn't seen anything outside of it. I've been in investment banking. I've been in media. I've been in sales. I've been into multiples. I've been an entrepreneur. I bought property. And when I came into recruitment, I was just blown away by what I'd seen. So with the Wright Brothers, they came into that and understood that the engines are getting bigger, but what we're looking to do, we're looking to fly. We're looking to fly. So while everyone else was obsessed with the engines, the Wright Brothers looked at the plane's aerodynamics and the wings. When I came into recruitment search, I looked at what the outcome was. The outcome was, I want to get to 1 million. I want to get to 5 million. Whatever the business owner's outcome was. Whereas I went to these mastermind events that I was invited to speak at, and I spoke at a low. I don't do it anymore. I hate some of the ethos in the background of it. I've been asked to go on TV many times. Primetime TV. I'd actually do it now, but I just don't like some of the things that go on in the background of these things. And when I came into recruitment, looking at the outcome. So I come from an engineering background, so input, process, output. And I'm speaking to a business owner. I want to get to 1 million. Okay, what are you doing? So we're trying to make the old model better. And I'm like, well, I joined Nomura in 1996. The internet started in 1995. So I've always worked with the internet. I've always worked with data. I've always worked with what's the outcome, reverse engineer the steps. We used to have project plans, Microsoft project of 10,000 lines. So when I look at a business, we want to plan the business. None of that goes on in recruitment. I was blown away. So while everyone else is obsessed with big billers, which is great, I'm obsessed with building a business based on predictability. And the Wright Brothers did that with their plane. So they focused on a plane that could glide without an engine first and then strapped an engine to it later. So I focused on, let's build a system that works to bring in clients and candidates. Then guess what? We get it working, then we can replicate it. Let's get it working on one desk or working in one area of your business, one sub-niche. Then you can replicate it over and over again. So the Wright Brothers had success. They flew for the first time by taking that model. So what's happening in recruitment search now is that type of model is insidious, and it's great. I'm not in any place, it probably works great for lots of companies and fabulous. For me, it doesn't work. I personally couldn't ever pick up the phone and cold call. I personally couldn't go to a networking event and talk garbage for 2 hours. I couldn't do that. I couldn't live that way. And 99% of the time, I couldn't do that. I couldn't live that way. And 99% of the time, I couldn't do that. I couldn't live that way. I personally couldn't go to a networking event and talk garbage for 2 hours. I couldn't do that. I couldn't live that way. So in recruitment, I just looked at recruitment as I've done in my own business. I had done in all the media space, in the investment banking space, in the systems engineering space. What's our outcome here? Let's reverse engineer the steps. So I want you to pause right now and really think about what I just shared with you there about the Wright Brothers and about recruitment, and let that really sink in. And again, I'm not here to persuade you. If you disagree with me, it's absolutely cool. Switch off now. That's absolutely cool, and I'm completely respectful of that. I'm just basing it on what I know, because the exact opposite to what everybody in recruitment search say to do, so in the blogs, in the media, and the online, and all this other stuff out there, it's done probably with good intent. It's done with good intent. But have they been in recruitment from the word go? They've always been a recruiter. Now they started to do something. Maybe so. I'm very open about this. When I came to recruitment, I looked at strategies that I'd used inside investment banking and media. I'd taken those and I applied them to recruitment. I didn't create a lot of these things. I've taken them and I've updated them. I've tweaked them. I've created my own versions of them. I've taken it from that worked in investment banking. How could that work in recruitment? I wonder. So in recruitment search now, we're obsessed with the big biller obsession, and it's great. There's a lot of merit to that. And again, I'm behind that model if it works for you. I'm not behind the person's got that X factor. If you're dependent on a big biller, if they leave, you're in trouble. If you're dependent on one or two clients and that goes sour, you're in trouble. So most recruiters and search specialists have set up the business in a way where they're obsessed with the next role. They're hit and hope, the next fee. If I get a really good recruiter, I can break through his plateau. Whereas they ignore what I think is really, really key. They ignore their system to bring in clients, leads. They bring in their system to bring in candidates. Their system to bring in both at the same time. So you shouldn't have a day where you're doing clients and a day where you're doing candidates. There should be a system that runs all the time. One of the systems that I stand by and say to my members, that should run every single day apart from Christmas Day. You're not involved with it. It runs without you. Why would you turn it off? So a system that runs all the time. So look around you. Other industries have mastered this. The automation, systems, working remotely, scaling, removing the need for so much human effort, which in turn removes mistakes, creates predictability. So again, why is it that the automotive industry can build a car completely with robots? Why is it that the SaaS industry can sell tens of thousands of their delivery model, in this case software, into a client, removing humans? Now, of course, for recruitment, we always need to speak to the client. We always need to speak to the candidate. But there's a time when that should happen, when we know they're hiring, when we know they're the right fit. So this human effort actually becomes a hazard. But there is always going to be a need for humans, but at the right time. Your job is to grow the business. So most recruiters and search specialists are obsessed with this frenzy building the desk via humans, calling, networking, LinkedIn, reps into the inbox each hour. The role that is not in the niche comes in, but guess what? You still do it because you need the money. The next candidate, building a team to solve the lap problem. It's just not a way to build a business. So in reality, all they're doing is strapping a larger and larger, more complex engine to a fundamentally flawed plane. So remember I told you that the Rainmakers have three things in the business that the grinders don't and the struggle bunnies don't. So what do the Rainmakers have? Well, the three things you need for predictable and consistent success in this new world of recruitment search business is the following. Number one, high quality hiring clients with high quality roles created on demand and with mathematical predictability. Number two, a proven system that will turn the leads into high paying clients that become retained and pay premium fees. Number three, a pool of 90% of all clients and a pool of 90% of all candidates that can be nurtured and accessed with automation within minutes. Now, these are three things that happen and are needed right now. Now, remember I said that what I'm going to go through is just literally two strategies out of over 200 that we use with our members, our recruitment search business owners. But these create the following. Now, remember I shared Darren Franks, number one authority in his niche. Laura, number one authority in her niche. I'm about to go through something even more simple than that with you. But if you get these three things, you're in a very strong place. So why do so many recruiters and search specialists hit a brick wall? Why do they struggle? Why does a new business struggle to get out of the starting blocks? Or if you're plateaued, why have you hit a ceiling? You just cannot break through it. Now, the key thing is you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Now, I've been told before my voice sounds aggressive, so if I come across that way, my apologies. It's actually just passion. It's passion. I actually swear way too much as well, and I'm trying to do really, really well and not swear. So you don't know what you don't know, and I wish I could make that really, really clear and emphasize that point. Now, the thing is, this isn't your fault. It's not your fault. One of the traits I've seen from unsuccessful people over the years is the more they look for the shiny object, the more unsuccessful they are. The more time they spend scouring the internet for the next thing to fix the next thing, they actually become unsuccessful. They fail. It's finding the right thing, then making it work. So it's not your fault that you don't know what is the right thing, because there's so much rubbish out there. So recruitment search owners have been fed a lie often, and recruitment's not moved with the times. In my opinion, this is. It's only my opinion. But it is your fault. So it's not your fault up to this point, but it is your fault if you don't change now. So after watching these proven campaign metrics and systems, it is your fault. So I'm about to go through 4 problems, 4 solutions, and 4 sets of mathematics for you. Okay? I'm going to do that on the next video. So I'll see you inside on the next video.